And we are live again. Happy Monday, everyone. Gonna wait for some people to join. I'm so excited to start talking to y'all. Welcome in, everyone. Happy Monday. So happy everyone's here. We are actually going to be talking about Wow Week today, which is one of my favorite parts about Cal Poly. So this is going to be a really fun one. I'm very excited. So please stick around. We are actually going to have a couple of different people involved in orientation joining our live pretty soon. So that's going to be pretty awesome. And once they come on here, we'll answer some questions, get all of that going. It's just going to be an awesome time. So please stick around. Right now. It always takes a bit of a second. Hello. How are you?
Hello.
I'm
doing well. How are you?
I'm actually home right now, so with my parents. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's still summer.
So before we begin, if anyone has any questions, sometimes they can get lost in the chat. So please use the Q&A function. That way we can kind of pin them, go through them, and then answer them ourselves. So with that being said, welcome to the Mustang Mondays Instagram Lives. I kind of want to just introduce ourselves if you're okay with that. Do you want to start?
Yeah, absolutely. So hello, everyone that's joined us. My name is Chad Zoller. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm a proud two-time graduate of Cal Poly and did a lot of time in orientation as an undergrad, stayed for my graduate degree here, and now serve as the program coordinator for new student and transition programs. I also, Aaron, have two student leaders with me for the student perspective of people working alongside us to make WOW happen. And so I'll let them come in and introduce themselves as well.
Hello. I can go first. Hi, I'm Ashley Tugachievsky. I'm a fifth-year double major in theater arts and LACE, which is liberal arts and engineering studies. I'm on the orientation leadership team, and I'm the admin and logistics lead.
Yeah, my name is Esperanza, but I go by Esty. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm an incoming fourth-year animal science major from Los Angeles, California, and this year on the orientation leadership team, I serve as a cross-cultural experience chair.
Okay, I'm so happy y'all are here because there's going to be so many people on this live. Oh my God, we have 84 people right now that wanting to hear about Wow Week. So I'm super excited. I got one comment that says, "Hi, Chad." So.
Chad, say hi.
He's right there.
Oh my gosh,
Chad, that's my mom.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, well, first, since we probably have people on here that don't even know what WOW stands for, what it is, or anything. So could one of you explain what WOW Week is?
So WOW stands for the Week of Welcome, which is a two-part for our orientation program here at Cal Poly. The first half being our Slow Days experience, which happens during the summer, where students partake in a 2-day orientation experience. They get to live on campus, and they get to go through presentations and fun activities with their groups. And then they come back a week before classes start for our Week of Welcome, which is a week-long, hence the name, our week-long orientation program filled with even more presentations and more fun activities that really get them bonded with a group of specific people. And it's just a really fun time to get them acclimated and warmed and settled.
I love that. It's such a good explanation. So how do they pick the groups for WOW Week? Is it just like random people? Is it people in your major? Is it, like, how do they do that?
Yeah, so we group new students by the residence hall. You're not necessarily going to be with, say, your roommate, but you will be with people in your building, which helps build that community early on that will last you through hopefully your entire first year and beyond.
Yeah, my own personal experience, a couple of friends I had in my WOW group, I've still kept in touch. I'm still really close friends with them like today, which has just been like so awesome. So what is to expect? Say I'm gonna come like incoming first year. What do I expect of Wow Week? Like, what am I doing the entire week?
Yeah. So similar to slow days, we're going to have mandatory awareness presentations throughout the week that are embedded, whether that's like on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Within that, we're going to have a welcoming presentation, which will be at, where is it? Spanos Stadium. That's our Big Fall Welcome. That's like our first introduction to the week of welcome. We have a bunch of guest presenters, and then we obviously have a closing at the end of the day on Sunday. Well, not the end of the day, like the end of the afternoon, because we want to give students time to prep for their first day of classes the following Monday. Our week, like I said, there's a bunch of presentations, and they have 2 group leaders within their group, and their leaders help plan fun activities for them throughout the week, whether that's kayaking, which my WOW group took me to, or possibilities are literally endless. I took my WOWies downtown. I took them to the P, to hike P.
With my group, go see Whalebird, because one of my favorite locations in SLO is the little Whalebird shop, or Whalebird. Is it Whalebird? Yes, Whalebird. Kombucha. Game night, we did a little bit of a painting moment with Bob Ross. Shout out. But a lot of fun things. And
resources. Yeah, we
a lot of
basically
fun resources.
Yeah, we just want to get students acquainted with a bunch of the resources that Cal Poly has to offer to make sure that they have as easy of a transition into Cal Poly as possible. So it's just a lot of information.
Okay,
but
so
a lot of fun
with
too.
that information, could you go into like what they're actually learning? Is it more like how campus works, or is it like what kind of like things are they learning?
Yeah, there's a lot. So like, for example, there is a college connections portion, which is where they're split up based on their colleges, and their respective colleges have things planned out for them. So they get to know what their college is going to look like, what year is going to look like for them. Apart from that, during slow days, they got specific like advising stuff from the Success Center. What else?
There's also some things on like what they might run into as just a student. Things like alcohol, things like how else can I say that? Like just that kind of
Like
party
awareness.
life. Yeah, there's awareness things. I believe there's also some DEI topics that we cover there.
Yeah.
So that's very important, and we're glad to get that in during our week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We actually do have a couple of questions already, which is totally awesome. Please, again, if people are joining now, if you have questions, ask them in the Q&A function. So someone asked, how many students are in each WOW group?
It changes from year to year, and we have not yet released what this year is going to look like, because things are still being put into final say, and so we don't want anyone to be either disappointed if it's not as big or smaller or anything. So we're holding off on
It's a
giving that
surprise.
number out
It's a
right now.
surprise.
Yeah,
Everyone will be surprised.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, this is a good question, and then hopefully one of y'all knows this one. Is WOW Week similar for transfer students, or does it differ?
It does differ in the sense that transfers have the choose your own adventure track, which is where essentially they kind of get to pick and build what their week is going to look like. That is to the extent of my knowledge for transfers, because Ashley and I neither work with transfers too well. I can pass it off to Chad real quick for the transfer experience to dive a little deeper.
Yeah, so the transfer experience, there's really 2 different tracks, our independent track and our small group track. So students, for transfer students, can pick which one kind of fits with their circumstance and their situation and what kind of experience they're looking for. So whether that being have one close-knit group that they would follow throughout the track of programming, or more independent where they're still going to the same mandatory presentations all students have to go to, but they kind of have a little more option to pick and choose what are some of the other fun activities they go to, and that way it's a little more flexible and a little more adaptable to their schedule if they have other things going on in their week, or cannot be around as much as maybe a small group experience would be able to. And so all of the information is available on our website if they want to see a specific track of the independent schedule, or again, what we're talking about is a lot of it for the small group experience aligns with what the first years are going, but it is a transfer specific group. So transfers are going to really only be around other transfer students during the week experience. So that way they're building connections with other people who are at similar life stage and similar transition in their college experience.
That's a perfect answer. Oh wow, we're getting so many questions. I love this. Oh wow. Okay. So y'all are the experts. So how is the experience for those that choose to go guide themselves?
Well, there really isn't we don't have any recommendations for people to venture out on themselves. We really hope that they stick to their group and their assigned schedule that the WOW leader has planned out for them, because the WOW leader personally has gone through a lot of time and effort to plan out certain events for their students. In terms of them venturing out on their own, we don't really know too much on that. We just really encourage them to participate in the actual week of welcome.
Yeah, I definitely want to use this as an opportunity to just say that WOW Week is so wonderful. Everyone on here, if you are an incoming first year or if you're coming in as a transfer student, please participate in WOW. It's wonderful. It's awesome. You meet so many amazing people. You experience so many awesome things. You get to know the town. You get to do so many fun things. My WOW leaders, Chase and Holt, shout out, were awesome. So that being said, definitely experience WOW Week, because it's unlike anything else.
Yeah, and then just to jump in back on our transfer talk, we do have a transfer summer series next week on Wednesday at 6 p.m. The link will be at our website, orientation.poly.edu.
Okay, awesome. We got another question. Is it common for roommates to be in the WOW group together?
Yeah, I'd say common, but probably a possibility. Like Ashley said, you are based off your group. You're based off wording. Your groups are according to your residence hall, but it's very, very unlikely that you'll be with your roommate, just because we really want to make sure you venture out and meet people. But it's not to say that you won't see your roommate in your group, but it's just unlikely.
Okay, this is actually an awesome question. I was wanting to ask y'all this a little bit later, but perfect time to talk about it now. Is there anything you should bring specifically for WOW Week?
Do we have a schedule or an itinerary on the website? I believe on our orientation website, we should have a list of recommended items that we recommend students to bring. So if they want to check that out and scavenge through it, I recommend, just off the top of my head, a water bottle, a little bag that has essentials. I personally always take my glasses, my chapstick, band-aids, small things that are personal to me, but definitely water, just because that week specifically is known to be really, really hot. So we want to make sure all students are hydrated and in good condition and health, because it does get very hot typically that week. But $25. Yes, on our website, I mentioned that we recommend or highly encourage students to bring $25 in cash for their leaders who might have planned something that would require.
And do you know if you are provided food, or if you need to bring food, or does that depend on the group?
Food is provided. Once WOW starts, their dining plan officially starts. So dining is worked off of wherever the location the group is. They kind of go to that dining facility that's within that area. So let's say my group is in the UU. I can order food from Red Radish, Starbucks, DG's, which is our Vista Grande and new dining complex. But yes, food is essentially provided through their dining dollars that they receive through their poly.
We are working through these questions. So someone asked, when do they get their WOW schedules, if you know a date?
I do
It's
not know.
up to the leader, honestly.
Yeah.
When I was a WOW leader last year, I essentially gave my WOWies like a day by day like schedule. Like I wouldn't show them the whole week. Like the night before, I just share with them like either, oh, this is what Wednesday's gonna look like, this is what Thursday's gonna look like. That way it's still a bit of a surprise for them. But they can like feel free to ask any of those questions to their leader directly when the day
Awesome.
comes.
So I actually don't really know what core is, but this question is about students in core and if they need to choose a check-in time for WOW.
Believe Chad, check-in for core is
Yes, they do have a special check-in time, and they'll get that information via email
Via email.
before the general track.
Well, starts, they'll get an email about their specific check-in location. But
Okay,
we
so
love
what
core.
is
I was
core?
part of core. Core, I specifically can't remember what the acronym stands for, but it is catered to underrepresented minority students. It's a program that happens a few days before the week of welcome, and they check in like 2 or 3 days before. They have a lot of packed schedules throughout those 2 days, but same thing, presentations, bonding activities, you get your own group, and it's a really fun time.
Okay, we got another question, and I actually don't know what CCE is, but how different is CCE from regular WOW?
So that's perfect because I serve as a cross-cultural experience chair. So me and my lead, Ray, we have planned out CCE since we were hired back in November. Been working quite some time on this program, but essentially it's a program catered for underrepresented minority identities, whether that's race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, economic class, religious standing, etc. It's open to anyone who wants the space and needs the space, but we don't exclude to any specific identity at all. It's an opt-in program. We do have specific CC events that only CC WOWies get to go to. What else? You go through the same awareness presentations that the general track goes through. It doesn't take.
Oh, I can't hear you right now. I think your volume went out. Yes,
You're back. Are we back? I don't know where I cut out, but I was just saying that it doesn't really take away from the larger group experience that you get during the general track. It just creates a small and empowering space for those who need it. But the programming is there. We've worked really hard to create this program, and we're excited to see new students
And what does
participate
CCE stand for?
Yes, it stands for the
Cross-cultural experience.
cross-cultural
Okay, awesome.
experience.
Great. I honestly love doing these too because I learn about different things like on the like admissions lives anyways, along with everyone else joining us. So kind of back to just like the logistics of WOW, what to expect. Is it an all day thing? Should I be prepared for, like an 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. day?
Yeah, so I don't know our exact start times each day, but normally we're running a little later into the night, somewhere around 11, 12 some nights. But yes, you should be expecting a day full of activities, fun, but also enough time for breaks and things like that. We ensure that there's enough time to get some rest, some relaxation during a very busy week. Yes.
Yeah, and if students ever need that break, they should communicate that with their leader. Their leaders are very understanding, and as long as they communicate that they need a break, their leaders should be very adaptable to what their students need, because after all, it is about the students.
Yeah, I remember my WOW leaders gave us like nap time in between things.
Yeah. It was
yes,
great.
for
it was
sure.
A well-needed break.
It's kind of like all over the place. So you mentioned kayaking. So is it mostly on campus, off campus, a good mix?
I'd say good mix. A lot of our programming in terms of like awareness presentations are on campus, and the events that our program holds is also mainly on campus. It mainly comes into play where like their DIY events or if like leaders want, oh my god. Welcome back. It mainly just comes into play in terms of like what DIY events the orientation leaders want to plan, and that's where like the off-campus situations might come into play. I know with GC specifically, we have an event where we take students off campus to Grover Beach for one of our annual CC events. Sorry, as we try to put you in a new location. But I'd say it's a good mix of both, and it just depends on what the leader is able to figure out in terms of like rides.
Okay. And then the rides are just like friends of the WOW leaders. There's no like need to pay for an Uber or anything.
Yeah. No, they're friends of WOW leaders, and then we make sure the drivers are certified and go through the proper paperwork before they're allowed to drive new students.
I do see a question in the chat. Do students spend the night in the dorms on the 13th and 14th? And what time does WOW week start on the 14th?
Yes.
Yes.
I believe they do stay both nights, or they don't have to stay both nights, but they are able to. If they have moved in. I believe move-in runs 13th to 14th. So if you move in anytime during there, once you're moved in, and you can stay, but you do not have to. I believe WOW on the 14th starts around 4. Yes, 4. So all very good things. And check-in runs, I believe, from 8 to around 4 as well. So you check in for WOW as well.
Awesome.
During that time.
Yeah, I did have some people come into the Welcome Center a little bit ago because I worked there, and they were concerned about missing out on stuff if they moved in on the 14th. And just want to emphasize, if anyone here is moving on the 14th, don't worry, you're not missing out. You're still going to jump into everything, you're not coming in late at all. So I did want to ask about each of your own personal experiences with WOW. If you could just talk about, what you did, maybe people you met, what you learned, just kind of tell me a little bit about your own experience.
Yeah, so I was a WOWie in 2018, a little while ago. But yes, I was a WOWie at one point. I remember being totally nervous and being scared of this new environment. But during grouping, which is the very first thing, I made some really wonderful connections, and my WOW leaders made me feel really just kind of comfortable in this environment. And it was kind of that moment forward that I knew I was going to be like, okay, here at Cal Poly. Many of those relationships, which were formed just in grouping alone and throughout the week, I kept with me through till now, 5 years now. So
Love that.
Yeah, very, very fun.
I joined the year after. I was a WOWie from 2019. I opted into the CC program. I learned about CC when I went through our Poly Cultural Weekend, otherwise known as CCW. I met a bunch of amazing individuals that have since now graduated, which is very, very sad. But they told me about CCE, and they told me to opt in. They also told me to opt into CORE, which is where I found those two programs. And honestly, I wouldn't be here where I am today if it wasn't for those two programs. My WOW leaders specifically were just so high energy, so fun. They really brought me out of my shell. I was definitely very timid and, like as you said, like scared. I feel like that's one thing that new students don't really acknowledge, is that everyone is coming in on the same boat. So if you think you're the only one nervous, that's most definitely not true. Some people probably just do a better job at hiding it, and that was definitely me. I definitely bursted out of my shell during the week of welcome, and it just made me have these everlasting connections with people in my WOW group that I still talk to today as well. Like, you're hearing it from 3 people. We still talk to the people in our WOW group to this day. Like, the connections are there. And then specifically my WOW leader introduced me to a bunch of cultural orgs on campus, and that's how I got involved on campus and found my community here. And then eventually I circled back and I became a WOW leader. Then I became a facilitator. SCC's facilitator and facilitators are in charge of training said WOW leaders. And then next year I decided to go for the orientation leadership team because I wanted to see how the program worked and run it. And that is how I'm here with Ashley. So we've really come full circle in terms of being a WOWie to now giving back to the experience.
Yeah,
that we love
do you
so much.
feel like that's why you both are in the positions you are? It's just because you had an awesome experience?
Most definitely, yes. I 100% agree.
I would definitely say it's a mix of during WOW and also during the energy we have during what we call our spring training, which is when our leaders get trained to be WOW leaders. There's also wonderful energy there that's unlike anything else. So that definitely brought me back multiple times.
I love that. I did see one question. Oh my gosh, we actually did get just another question about CCA in particular. Wow. If you want to just quickly reiterate, maybe this person wasn't here.
Oh, okay. So CC stands for the Cross Culture Experience. It's an opt-in track during the week of welcome. Students are forced into the track. It's an opt-in program, completely voluntary. It's catered for underrepresented minority identities, whether that's race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender expression, economic class, religious standing, etc. It just caters to those individuals and creates a safe and welcoming environment for them. Because Cal Poly is a predominantly white institution, so certain individuals with certain underrepresented minority identities might have a little bit of trouble just adjusting to a new life here at Cal Poly's campus. We don't stray away from the general track. It's not to say that if you opt into one, you're going to miss out on something from the other track. We just try to cater to a smaller sense of community and build that community and safe, inclusive environment for those who need it.
Yeah, sometimes we'll get questions, people joining in again, and so
it's okay. I can talk about it all day.
Perfect. We actually did get a question that I wanted to talk about clubs. So is there a time set aside to learn about clubs and organizations on campus?
Do you want to go?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So funny you ask, because we have a whole event called Wow Club Showcase, which is where another member of OLT, they've been taking charge of it, Emmanuel. It's the last day of WOW, Sunday from 1 to 3 p.m. We have all the orgs that have signed up to be participants. They all show up, they have their own booth, and they're just out and about, and then new students have the chance to just walk around, walk into new booths and see what clubs they might be interested in. Usually there's an interest list that clubs might have, join us. It's honestly one of the best experiences I've had during WOW, just seeing all these orgs, seeing what I want to get into. But there is time at the end of the day, very last day, for new students to see all the clubs that the campus has to offer, and it's a really fun time. And that's honestly where I found the clubs that I'm still actively involved in to this day.
I also believe that there are certain club hosted events.
Yeah, certain clubs have also reached out and wanted to offer up their own event, which are club hosted events, and that's up to the leader's discretion to see if they want to opt into those programs.
Cool. I didn't even know that was a thing. Do you have any examples by chance?
Yeah.
Of
let's see. In terms of organizations, other than clubs, we have the Poly Creamery. They're what are they doing? They're
a little tour.
A little tour of their facility. You get to either get some ice cream, grab some cheese, anything creamery related. What else is there? That's the main one.
Or at least in the past we've done that.
In the past, there has been we have a line dancing club here on campus, and they've often put on an evening show where they get to teach people how to line dance. I don't know if that's happening this year for certain, but we're trying to juggle based off of memory. But I know Poly Creamery is for certain a club.
And then did y'all both sign up for clubs when you went to the club orientation?
Yeah. Yeah, my email was full from so many welcome emails saying, this is our meeting time, you there.
Yeah. And I found an organization that I stuck with for 3 of my 5 years so far. So that can really be long-standing. It's not just
Is that this program?
No. Shout out the Innovation Sandbox.
I love that. Yeah, I found the club water polo team. I don't play anymore, but I played my first 2 years at Cal Poly, and it was amazing. But I found them at the club fair, and I was like, oh my gosh! So I got to sign up there, which was awesome. And then will you two be there at the club fair for orientation, or no?
We're definitely going to have an orientation booth. I don't know if specifically Ashley and I are going to be the hosts of that, but someone from our team will be there welcoming new students and seeing if they want to, get back to the program that they just went through. But yeah, we will.
I'm just going to be there. That's why I'm asking. So again, if anyone has any questions, please use the Q&A function. Although I did see a couple, so I'm just going to try to remember them. Do you know how many WOW leaders there are going to be per group? 2? Okay, awesome. I know I had 2, so I was like, but I don't know if it changes that per year.
Unless you're in Mustang Band, then you have
5.
Mustang Band is a different track and a different scenario, but they do have 5 leaders if you're a Mustang Band.
Yes.
Everyone else.
So someone asked if we have a disability, can we talk to our WOW leader about things we can and cannot participate in?
Of course, we highly encourage it because oftentimes WOW leaders planned certain events. Usually, not usually, we do encourage them to have backup events in case there are certain accessibility reasons with their event. I definitely also encourage students who have disability needs to contact the Disability Research Center to see if they can offer any accommodations, not only for the week, but for the entire year and for the entire rest of the
our
time
DRC is awesome.
Yeah.
So again, please ask questions. I kind of want to wrap this up with some advice for anyone listening. So do y'all have any advice for people coming into WOW Week?
I can start that. Yeah. You are only a WOWie once. That's said a couple of times throughout the week, but that's something that I truly do believe in. Even me, who's been involved with orientation for all my years, there is something super special about being that first year or that transfer student, your first time in, where you're just kind of experiencing it. You're not leading it. That is so incredibly special. The connections you'll make, the just experience as it is something that you can't recapture. It's really special. And so you only do it once. Make the most of it, because it goes fast. It goes really fast. Yeah.
Oh boy, I was going to say the same thing. But yeah, we really do live by the fact that you're only a WOWie once. You're never going to have this experience ever again. So we really do encourage you to go out to as many events as you can, or any that you're really capable of. We do realize that it's a pretty long event. Like we said, Week of Welcome, it does go on for a week, more like 5 days. But we're not going to rebrand the name. But it's just what I said earlier. Everyone's coming in on the same boat, whether they're nervous. It's a new environment. Everyone's in it together. You're all on the same page. Just really come out of your comfort zone and explore new things that you might not be comfortable to. It's just honestly college is a next step in your life, and it's really nice to just learn more about yourself, because it's not only about your academics, but you're also just learning to be yourself, if that makes any sense. But I really found myself during college and being comfortable during those first few days. Definitely
for sure.
Yeah. Another thing, this is kind of vanity, but know now, because we're going to drill it into you eventually. Piece of advice: it's the week or WOW. WOW week. WOW week.
Right.
Is Week of Welcome week. So.
Right.
So. Remember, it's
I
the
love
week
that.
or
Yes.
WOW.
People always say WOW Week.
Yeah.
I would say for me, one thing that, throughout college too, but especially in Week of Welcome, at least I heard the little, take your cool card, rip it up, throw it away, tear it. Just because it's one of those things where the best way to meet people that are going to care for you, that are going to be some really amazing friends, is just by being yourself. And it's stupid, but it's so true, just trying to really involve yourself in everything your WOW group is doing. It's fun. Just try to have fun with it, I had an amazing WOW group. So please, everyone here that's hopefully going to WOW Week, jump in it, just have fun.
Literally amazing. Yeah. It's very ironic that my WOW group number was 35, and then when I became a leader, my WOW group number was 35. So 35 will forever live on. Yes, Jen.
Wow.
Was it an error in the system? I don't know. But it was just by coincidence. But yeah, it's a really fun time. Oh, also, speaking of numbers, each of your groups have a specific theme that your orientation leaders are working towards. So, for example, I was group 35 when I was WOWY. Group 35, join us in 5, and then we did the WOW. Don't mock me. It was 2019. The WOW was in back then. What was your theme?
When I'm group led, I was 444 thrift shopping like Macklemore. So that's, I think, a classic theme.
Yeah, and each theme, like, we have a roll call that can happen throughout like any point in the day, and like usually we have like WOW groups like shout their chant. So that is definitely where the cool card comes into play. Don't be afraid to shout your group chant because your leaders have worked hard and they want you to shout with them.
We were 261 eat a ton, so they brought us like tons and tons of snacks.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's so funny. But yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap it up, I just, if anyone has any last minute questions, please use the Q&A function just so we can pin those. We can answer any final questions before we wrap this up. But I just want to thank y'all so much for joining me. I had such a fun time.
Really fun. We had some silly goofy times where like the phone fell and like slid right in.
Yeah, you know,
It adds to the character.
It adds to the essence.
the aesthetic is there.
Right.
This is what you should expect for.
Do you recommend
2 or 3 weeks.
that, not first years, but once you go into second, third, fourth, fifth year, that people check out being an orientation leader, or like?
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's just like this bucket list item that people have. It's like be a WOW leader at some point in their like college career. Yeah. Like,
and for me, it's been one of the most like fulfilling things to be able to give other people that space that I was given as a first year. And so besides it being fun and like that, it's also a very fulfilling thing, at least for me. So yeah.
And then you have 25 students that just look up to you and like you're their mentor, and honestly that's just such a warm, comforting feeling that I had when I had my students. I refrain from calling them my children, but it's just so incredible.
It is.
They are my students. I care for them so much.
So again, we got someone just asking how groups are chosen, and that's just in your dorm residential living, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Again, you're not necessarily going to be with your roommate or roommates, depending, but it can happen just by, random.
Awesome. Building. And then we did get one more, which I feel like is a very important question. Do you recommend carrying around a water bottle? Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Get yourself a hydro flask, put some stickers on it.
Closed-toed shoes. Make sure you layer, because like we said, we are going from early to late at night, so like it does, the temperature change in slow does drop, so like
sunscreen.
Yeah, sunscreen, yes.
But definitely water bottle for sure. You're gonna might be going on a hike and then like going kayaking and then like having a picnic. So water, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That is a perfect question to leave off on. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I had such a wonderful time. Of course, yeah. And then thank you everyone for joining. This was so wonderful, and I hope everyone has an awesome Monday. Bye.
Hey there, my name's Rafael. I'm a fourth-year journalism transfer student with a minor in Spanish, and my pronouns are he, him, his. Thank you for watching the video. Please share any questions or comments you have down below in the comments section. Click here to subscribe, and to watch more videos, click here. If you want to sign up for a campus visit, we're offering in-person and virtual options, so check out our website. Link in the description. Thank you for watching.